Stan Gibilisco here with a bit more advice for writers. And this applies to new writers, old writers, in-between writers, cynical writers, optimist writers, pessimist writers, and writers who don't really care what type they are, they just write. There's one illusion you should never allow yourself to fall into, one delusion, I might say. And that is because you have left the insecurity of the corporate world today that somehow you were immune to the effects of downsizing among corporations and other activities of that sort. A company that I work with recently acquired new management. And without any warning whatsoever, probably the most merciful way for an asteroid to hit, a large number of people I work with were told that at the end of January 2015, their jobs would no longer exist with that company. That seems to be the rule these days, that kind of insecurity among corporate employees, and there's something good about it and something bad about it. Obviously, if you're looking for security and a long-term career in a company, you can forget it. In the United States of advertising, such is rare, if even existent at all. If you are a freelancer and you have access to all these companies, hundreds of them supposedly, and you think that that makes you immune to this kind of insecurity by fear source of numbers, guess again, because I am affected too when things like this happen. I'm losing an editor with whom I've worked with for a while. Arguably the best editor I've ever had. But I thought that when I lost the previous editor that I was losing the best editor I'd ever had, and things worked out all right. Things have always worked out all right if I just sat tight, didn't panic, didn't make any sudden moves, and just let the ship continue to move under its own momentum until once again the forces of wind came along and pushed it, possibly in a new direction, but things have always worked out so far. The one thing you don't want to do if you lose your editor or otherwise some person you've worked with for a long time, an agent perhaps, is panic. Although the temptation in my case, even after 30 years in this racket, is very strong indeed. Perhaps the only reason I don't just chuck it all and steer my whole ship in a brand new, not only a brand new direction, but a brand new planet, is that I'm just too tired. I've alluded to some medical conditions I've had, and I don't want to get into that for fear of attracting ridicule from certain people who watch my videos and try to find the worst in me. More power to you. Find the worst. Keep it to yourself. But I would say this. Don't do that. Don't just panic and throw everything over because something happened that didn't go quite your way, or even your way, anywhere near your way. There's something good about this freedom of being able to move from company to company for employees, and freedom of companies to be able to just chuck people like they were so much chattel. And there's something bad about it. And the bad thing about it is that it's just plain immoral, in my opinion. Yet, sometimes the most moral societies are also the least free. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. I believe Thomas Jefferson said that, and Stan Gibilisco has said that the price of freedom is the willingness to accept insecurity. Stan Gibilisco, and somebody said that before me, don't give me credit for it, and I'm not going to take credit for it. I'm not going to take credit for anything right now except sticking to the contract I have and staying the course, as you should do when that inevitable kind of transition happens to you as a writer. Stan Gibilisco signing off. from the black holes of Dakota Territory, United States of Advertising. Until next time, so long.